So I'm going to share my screen with you all. I'm going to do a very quick. So first of all, thank you all. Merci beaucoup à tous de prendre le temps d'être ici avec nous aujourd'hui. Thank you very much for being here with us today. I am going to be doing this presentation in English. However, les diapos sont disponibles en français. Alors, si vous voulez quelque chose en français, laissez-moi le savoir, puis je vous le donne en français. But this is going to be mostly English. I'm sorry for those who have a little bit of difficulty with English at this time. But we will do our best to make sure that your voices are heard and that we get your opinions made. So I'm going to do a very quick presentation on who the NRC is, just so that we understand who we're dealing with and why we're here today. I'm going to speak a little bit about why we care about the oceans and biotech in particular, and of course, why we're here specifically today. So basically after this, I'm going to pass the floor to Noémie Guerrigar, who is going to provide us with an overview of where she believes we could be in the next 10 years if we work together. So another thing that's important to note is that the work that we're doing today, so everything you're saying today and that we hear is going to be fed up to an interdepartmental steering committee. And that really is not just the NRC who is interested in what is being said today. It is also DFO and NRCan and ECCC. Well, no, we don't have ECCC right now, but anyway, a bunch of departments are listening to what it is that we are doing and saying, and this is getting fed up into their own initiatives as well. And I think that's a very important thing for you to hear. So who's the NRC? NRC, basically, we are Canada's research and technology organization, which is really, we're the R&D arm of the federal government. And so I like putting this slide up because not a lot of people understand the NRC's value proposition, and the value proposition of having a national R&D organization is that you actually have excellence, respect, integrity, collaboration, impact, and creativity as our core values. And this is really important because we're not here to compete, we're here to augment and to support our industry, as well as all our stakeholders. We want to create a better Canada through science and innovation, but really we want to do so by collaborating across the global innovation system, which is really, we want to focus on making Canada the best society, the economy, and the environment possible. And we want to be able to pepper that out to the rest of the world. So we often hear, I often say this, so I apologize if you've heard this from me before, but basically what we are trying to do is bring together the particles that are Canadians, link them together as a wave and wash them over Canada and the world to really make this into a better place. We have three major roles in the federal government. First, we want to support business innovation. Many of you may already know IRAP, or Paris en Français. And essentially what that is that IRAP gives funding to organizations, SMEs. There is some funding for students, but mostly SMEs, to basically take on innovation projects and create innovation that way. Those are those little yellow dots you see in the top right-hand corner of your screen. That's where our IRAP representatives sit. The other side of the business innovation is actually in the infrastructure that we hold across Canada. We have expertise in just about every science and technology area, and we have facilities across Canada that are available to our stakeholders, particularly SMEs. You can actually get IRAP certificates to get some of our funding covered through IRAP. So you could do some research in our laboratory. So from coast to coast, we have things like nanotechnology all the way to a ice tank in St. John's that looks at ships and shipping. We also are involved, and again, back to this information today is going to be fed up through many organizations or many federal departments, is that we actually do support federal policy mandates. We do not create our own policies. We provide the science and technology necessary for evidence-based policymaking. And then finally, we advance knowledge, which is part of what we need to be on a blue economy front. We really do need to get more information about the ocean itself and how we can actually profit from it by getting it to be a little bit healthier. We'll talk about that in a second. The NRC itself has four areas where we work on. If you start from the right-hand side and go backwards, I'm going to kind of reverse this, but their science infrastructure, those are those dots that I showed you, the red dots that you just saw on the screen. That is our infrastructure. That is really how we do science. So in Vancouver Island, we have an observatory. So we actually have scientists looking for exoplanets. Not a lot to do with what we're here for today, but at least it tells you the breadth of the work that we do at the NRC. IRAP I've already covered. And we have technical services. So basically, if you need some research done, we are researchers for hire. That's what we do, and we will do research for you. However, what I'm here to talk to you about today, and what is more interesting to most of the NRC, is this first pillar, which is strategic research and development. So NRC as an organization has its own research agenda, and it is aligned with the federal research agendas, I guess. Well, the agenda of the government is completely aligned. What we want to do is we want to collaborate, like we saw on that first slide on our values and mission and our vision statement, is really we want to collaborate with partners so that we can increase the impact of our research. So that is what we're here to discuss today. How do we work together so that we can actually accomplish something of great significance for Canada? We have areas of expertise in 4 areas. This is really NRC at work. So the ones that are green are the ones we typically use in the ocean space. However, they don't necessarily have to be those, but we have everything from aerospace to looking at astronomy, as I was saying, and astrophysics. So, or security and disruptive technologies as well. We have that. So what does that mean for us today? So it's great. The NRC is a wonderful organization with all these wonderful values, and we have all this value that we can bring to our stakeholders. But really, we're here today to talk about biotechnology. And so what is it that we can do, or why is NRC interested in this at all? And it really falls to the blue economy. So as we've all heard, or hopefully we've all heard, and I seem to be doing things backwards today. So if we look at the 2020 speech from the throne commitments, that last bullet is investing in the blue economy to help Canada prosper. That is of great significance to us because we're here to really focus on the blue economy. And for us, the blue economy is really a sustainable ocean economy that takes in inland waterways, though we're not going to really focus on those today. What's important as well is that the supercluster is part of this agreement. So even though we're looking at the 2020 speech of the throne, our government is 100% committed to the ocean economy itself. So really we're looking at how do you incent the blue economy and how do you commercialize on it? That is something that's very important here. Of course, the ocean is not in a sustainable state, so there are things that we need to do to get it there together uniformly as a country and as an international commitment through the UN Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainability. And of course, we're looking at, we're part of that, and that also follows the UN Sustainable Development Goals, particularly life below water. And the idea here is that we really have to return the ocean back to a state of health. And then when we're looking at the high-level panel for a sustainable ocean economy, it really is about reducing or increasing the health of the ocean while really looking at how do you make money doing it? And that is where the NRC's ocean program comes in. We're all about ocean health and ocean wealth. So essentially what we're saying is that, yes, we want to support the ocean economy, the ocean superclusters community in getting sustainable technologies into the hands of people or into industry so that we can have blue economic growth there. But really what we really want to do while we're helping that is to increase research and technology capacity across Canada to really help us balance the health of the ocean with the economy. And so for us, it's like we're turning our argument on, or we're not our argument, but we're turning the idea on its head that we have to clean up the environment. The idea here is that we have to return the health of the ocean to where it is to sustain life in a way that will sustain human life. At the same time, we have to make money doing it. So it's all about restoring ocean health and make money doing that, as opposed to make money and then clean up the ocean afterwards. And it seems subtle, but it's a major difference and one that we're really focused on. We basically are a 7-year duration program. So what you're seeing to us today is actually going to inform, because the program was just launched in March. It hasn't been official because of COVID. Like we haven't had this big, wonderful exclamation of joy of our program being put out because COVID was a little bit more important than our program at the time. But essentially it's right at the beginning. And so what we're doing is we're asking you to help us make sure that we're focused in the right areas. It's a $50 million commitment. We are cost recoverable, so that does mean that we do charge. We do have, so I'm freezing up and I'm worried that I'm getting lost. Can everybody else still hear me while I'm talking? Yeah, okay. So basically, we have about $10 million over the life of our program. And back to that strategic research, we're going to be doing specific research in areas, and we would like to collaborate, and we have some funds to help people collaborate with us. to do work that will increase the impact of the research that we do. Our capacity itself in terms of research is listed at the bottom of this page. Again, if you need it in French, comes up. The 4 areas of the program that we are focused on is coastal resilience, intelligent marine assets, pollution remediation, and bioassets. Now today, we really focus mostly on bioassets and pollution remediation a little bit. And really the idea here is how do we grow biotech and how do we create that, or marine biotech, and how do we create that value added for our stakeholders so that we can get these solutions into the hands of entrepreneurs and business people. Applies to the wealth side. And so we're really linking everything from an ocean health, ocean wealth perspective. The last thing I want to share with you is that we have diversity and inclusion built into this program. So we have a national advisory board that has gender parity and it has Indigenous representation, which is important to us. We're also going to be wrapping all of our activities in this ethical space that you see to the right hand of your screen. And essentially that really is that we want to incorporate the ideas that have been put forward by Indigenous peoples to reconcile nations, for us to reconcile science. Because we all know that the Western science way is not the most inclusive. So how do we use these ways of reconciling nations to reconciling our own science and tech? And other than that, everything we do is obviously going to have a GBA plus because it's written here, we have to do it. And I am a female, so there you go. The program director is a female, and we're trying very hard. The NRC is working quite extensively on trying to make sure that it has diversity and inclusion in all of its activities, not just this program. And that's to why we're here today. So as part of our commitment, we're doing an S&T scan. We are actually doing this scan in a 3-phased approach. These workshops are being done across different sectors. So we're really listening to all of our stakeholders as much as we can from all the different sectors across Canada for the ocean or sustainable blue economy, or the blue economy, which is in fact sustainable. But we're also looking at publications and affiliations. So we're doing a full out study on who is publishing what science in each of these industries that we've looked at. So for biotech, we're doing a publication and affiliation. We're just looking at Canadian publications because we're interested in Canadian capacity and how do we grow it, but it will have the international components to that through the affiliations. We're also doing an assessment of all of the SMEs and MNEs that report in biotech. Biotech is not currently one of the industries that are listed by DFO, but we're hoping that that will happen, or if it hasn't happened already, it will happen shortly. And this will inform, this workshop will inform that. And then finally, this workshop. And really what we want to do at the end of this workshop is to say, you know, in like our program is 7 years, but we want to know within 10 years, what can we accomplish together? And so for marine biotech, it's like, there's all sorts of different things that we could do. What is it? This is just a snapshot, but a potential objective at the end of this would be something we would like to take on so that we can say, hey, together, this is what we can do in biotech. And that is all I have for you today. So if you don't have any questions, I'll wait for a little bit to see if you have any questions. This presentation, like I said, is available in English, puis en français aussi. My contact information is here. Please let me know if you want, if you have any other questions or any questions.
Chantal, it's Rory here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
How are you doing?
I'm very good. Yourself?
Thank you. Fine.
Welcome.
A question. I missed the comment about the second last slide about DFO. Are you referring to the blue economy strategy that DFO is leading when you said that, or was there some other context for your reference to DFO?
So DFO, yes, the Blue Economy Strategy Secretariat is involved, as are those who are developing the Aquaculture Act.
So your specific comment was that DFO hasn't accepted marine biotech as an...
Oh, for that. No. That's the StatsCan. I'm sorry. I misunderstand what you were saying.
Okay.
Yes. So it's StatsCan who gets the DFO kind of classifies the sector. And then it is a Statistics Canada approach to these are the sectors and this is what they do. And this is their contribution to GDP. But it requires this is a specific sector. And it's not listed by DFO as a sector for GDP association. That's what it is. And it may be now, I'm saying this was the data that's available is like 2018 numbers, because they're always a bit behind. So based on 2018 numbers, this biotech was not considered a GDP additional industry.
Biotech in general isn't, so
In general, yeah.
Marine biotech wouldn't be for sure. So
exactly, that's what I'm saying there. Yes,
yeah, they consider
but this information is getting fed up through. It is getting fed up through DFO, through the Secretariat and the Aquaculture Act. So we're not the Aquaculture Act itself, but the people running it. So this feedback is going to go into them directly.
Thank you.
All right.